Hello, everybody, and welcome to Meal Solutions Monday. So this is our Flyer to Fork series, and today I am going to do this week's meal deal, and I'll explain what all that means in just a moment. First, I want to introduce myself. My name is Joni Rampolla, one of the registered licensed dietitians with Giant and Martin's. And every Monday, we come to you to give you some inspiration on cooking. So what is our Flyer to Fork series? I love this series. So what the dietitian team does is we take some people call it the circular, some people call it the flyer. Online or in your app, it's called the weekly ad. It's all the same thing. So we're calling it the flyer, but it's the same thing as your weekly ad or the circular. So what the dietitian team does is we take that weekly ad or the flyer, we go through and see what are some good deals happening this week, and then we find something fun to make to bring affordability as well as nutrition to your table. So this week I am focusing on the meal deal. So there's no actual recipe for this week because I'm just kind of putting the meal deal together, but I'm calling it a Philly cheesesteak, right? That's what it looks like. And what I'm adding to that is a homemade horseradish sauce. And that is just my own concoction. So where do you find the weekly ad? You find it, one, delivered in your mailbox. That's only some people. It doesn't go to most. I don't know how you get on that list. You can find it at the entrance of any store that you walk in. So like if your entrance has two stores, it's in both entrance areas. You can find it on our website, and I'll show you how to find it on our website and in the app. So lots of places that you can find our weekly ad. So I happen to shop at a Martin's store. So this is just a screenshot of my store. So if you see the top bar circled in red is the weekly ad, I click on that. And on Thursday only, the only day of the week that you see 2 weeks and that you see the current week because our new week starts on Friday. So if I'm ordering online to pick up from Martin or Giant direct on Friday, I can see what's on sale that Friday. So Thursday only, I can see two, but normally if I click on that, I'll just see one weekly ad. And then when it opens up, this is the weekly ad. So I got there from clicking on the weekly ad. And then also I can choose grid view or print view. So what I chose here to look at is print view. If I pick the grid view, it just shows you all the coupons. Then the other thing I want to point out at the top bar where it says weekly ad, if you scroll all the way, if you like follow all the way down to the end where it says services and there's a drop down box, you can click on that drop down and see the well-being team. And on that link is where you can find our classes to sign up for. So how you get in this class, that is one way to find it. Another way to find the weekly ad is in the app. So this is just a screenshot of my app. I was on the home page and I scrolled down a little bit and you see view the weekly ad, you click on that. Or if I want to click on the save tab at the bottom, you see save the dollar signs, that pulls up the ad as well. So then when I find what's on sale, I love to go to Savory, which is the recipe tab of our website. Savory has a lot of different options. So I just searched. So just say chicken and potatoes are also on sale this week. I can put in chicken and potatoes and see what comes up and find a recipe I like. I just searched steak sandwich because that's what I'm making today. And you see 811 results. So I'm sure I can find a steak sandwich that works, but today I'm not going with a recipe. I'm just winging it. So this is the meal deal. This is this week's meal deal. You know what? I just got, I should turn on my little grill here for what we're making, start warming it up. So this is the meal deal. The meal deal is you buy the beef shaved steak and you get for free the onion, the pepper, the steak rolls, and the cheese. That is awesome, right? So that's what we're making today, a steak sandwich. So what that means is you actually have to buy 2 containers of the beef shaved steak. What I like about this beef shaved steak is it's 22 grams of protein, where there is a different brand that has only 5 grams of protein per serving. So this is just steak. You get the steak roll, the onion, the pepper, and I love that they add a vegetable to this. Like that is awesome, and a cheese. So it could be different flavors of cheese. I chose American. In the weekly ad, you see provolone. I think they're both common on a cheesesteak, but it could be all the ones that are 10 slices of cheese in a packet. So that is the cheese that goes with this meal deal. All right, so I'm going to elevate this meal deal a little bit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a horseradish sauce to it. So I'm doing that by using half a cup of Greek yogurt, and you will get these slides afterwards so you can have this written down if you want to try it at home. 1 tablespoon of horseradish and 1 teaspoon of honey mustard. Also, along with the pepper and the onion, I'm going to add mushrooms, slice them up and put them in with my mix of mixed vegetables. Every time you add a little bit more vegetable to your dish, you decrease saturated fat coming from the meat, increase nutritional value of your meal. And then lettuce. So this week, this Nature's Promise greenhouse grown lettuce varieties, you can get one free with choice points. So I'm like, oh, I should find a way to use that in my cheesesteak. Some people don't like cold and hot mix, but I do. It adds a little nice crisp crunch. And then there is also a digital coupon for a fresh store-cut mixed fruit or pineapple. I personally did not buy that today, but I wanted to, and I think that's a great addition instead of dessert. If you want something sweet to balance out your meal, that's what I would add. So even though I don't have that today, mentally, that's what I want to add. Also want to say this month, you can save your choice points to get a free turkey with just 400 choice points, which is about 8 dietitian classes, right? You earn choice points many ways by buying certain products, but also from attending dietitian classes. So you can claim the offer in your app or online starting November 1st and redeem to get your turkey starting the 14th. So that's just in 4 days. So just want to say that if you're not a turkey eater, you could get $1 off per pound of other select items like turkey or ham, or you could get a lasagna or a tofurkey, other things to satisfy those same 400 choice points. And then this week, there are so many things that you can get free when you redeem choice points. Things that could work for a great meal, and one of them is the Nature's Promise lettuce. And just to note, for everything I'm showing you, prices and availability may vary according to store and shopping method. Like for example, when I'm on the Giant site, I see all the wines or beer that's on sale, but I live in Maryland and we never have that product. We're not allowed to sell alcohol in our store. So it does vary by store for various reasons. All right, so while there's no recipe for what I'm actually making, this is kind of what I'm going to do today. Toast my rolls. Let me turn on I have my toaster oven sitting right here next to me. So I'm going to toast my rolls, get them nice and warm. I'm going to saute my onions, peppers, and mushrooms in a little bit of olive oil until they're soft. And that may take about 6 to 8 minutes. That's the longest part here. Then we're going to add the shaved beef to the pan, cook it until brown. If you want to season it, you can add steak seasoning, you can add salt and pepper, you can add whatever you like to that. And then we're going to mix them all together, kind of pop them down a little bit to get it flat, put the cheese on top, let it melt, and then fill our rolls. So that's kind of my homemade recipe. Up, and then I'm going to stop sharing my screen right about here. And we are gonna get to it. So what I'm gonna do first, I have my steak roll. I'm gonna pop that in to warm that while I cook the veggies. And what I like about these steak rolls is they're pre-cut. so you don't have to go slicing them. So I have my little toaster oven right here. I'm just going to pop that in there. I'm going to show you down here is my skillet. Going to take off the lid. I was warming it up. And I cut my pepper and onion already. So this is my pepper. Now, before I add that, let me add a little bit of oil. So I am just adding some olive oil. Oh my goodness. And this is not opening for me. There we go. That a second to heat up. Then I cut up my bell pepper. I'm going to add that. And the vegetables actually take longer to cook than the meat. I just sliced my onion into little slices. I grew up in Philadelphia and I remember the Philly cheesesteak. If you go into a Geno's or Pat's, it was always like, do you want onions with that? That was always the question. Onions with or without your cheesesteak. So I have a lot of veggies here. I like a lot of veggies. And then we're just gonna cook these until they're kind of a little translucent and tender crisp. And while we are cooking that, I have a little poll that I am going to launch. Because I want to see what you like on your cheesesteak. So everybody's different with the kind of cheese. I chose American cheese. In the weekly ad, they're showing provolone cheese. And from being in Philadelphia, I feel like American, provolone, or Cheese Whiz are the three kinds that when you grow up in cheesesteak world that people like. Most people tend to like American, tend to like provolone. I tend to like American. And then, so your choices are provolone, American, Cheese Whiz, or hold the cheese. And most people do choose provolone. We have about 62% say provolone, 29% say American, 7% Cheese Whiz, and 3% say hold the cheese. Thanks for giving me your comments. I chose American today. But yes. So I'm letting this cook. And then just want to say I have one of my beefs unopened. This one I opened and already cooked because I wasn't sure how much time I would have. But when I cooked it, I didn't expect it to cook in literally 4 minutes. Like it took me 4 minutes to cook this. So this cooks really quick. It's the vegetables that take like 6 to 8. But while that is cooking, just want to say something about olive oil for those that know me. Yep, this is my thing. I love olive oil. So if you see this olive oil up here, it says first cold extracted. If an olive oil says first cold pressed or first cold extracted, what that means is they take olives and they press them or extract the oil out of them. That is the most nutrient dense, as I'll call it, has the highest amount of antioxidants, polyphenols, omega-3 fatty acids in there. Then when they get that olive mash, I know you hear this sizzling. My microphone is right next to my hand. When they get that olive mash, then they either chemically treat it or heat it. All olive oil is great for your heart. It is the right mix of fat for your heart. It doesn't matter which kind you get. It is wonderful. But if you want the most nutrients, because heating it or chemically treating it reduces the nutrient count a little bit. So I like that first cold press, which is always extra virgin olive oil. You do you, but I just wanted to say I like that. So while this is cooking, I'm going to make my horseradish sauce. So I bought in my store Greek non-fat yogurt. I believe on sale or on our everyday low price now is the not Greek, just the plain yogurt. But my store didn't have that today, so I chose the Greek yogurt. So the only difference is Greek gives really double the protein count of non-Greek yogurt, plain yogurt. So I took half a cup of my plain yogurt, and then I'm going to add 1 tablespoon of horseradish, give it that horseradish bitter taste, and then 1 teaspoon of honey mustard. Have my honey mustard. I'm going to do 1 teaspoon. Your giant spoon, love it. Mix that up together. Horseradish, 1 tablespoon. New. Oops. I added my horseradish, my honey mustard, and Greek yogurt. That's all this is. Maybe a little sprinkle of dill or parsley just to get some color on top would be nice. And when my cheesesteak is done, this is what I'm going to drizzle on top. Just give it that creaminess. Just helps blend the roll and the cheesesteak. Add some nice flavor. So now my sauce is done. And these are going to take a little bit longer. You know what? I might just, let me show you what it looks like. I might just throw in my beef, even though they're not quite done. Because you can watch the beef cook. But yeah, they take a little bit of time. But I like that if I'm having something like a cheesesteak, the beef, adding a lot of vegetables to it really helps increase your nutrition and decrease the saturated fat of the entire dish. So it's a great strategy. Gonna check on my roll. I'm pulling my roll out because it's nice and warm and toasty. I don't want to get it too toasty, so I'm going to let it sit there for a moment. Now I'm opening up the beef. Honey, my dog just jumped in here. Yep, that kind of smells good, doesn't it? And I'm gonna just push my veggies to one side. Add the beef to one side and get that start cooking. And if my beef doesn't cook in time, I have some that's already cooked that we can show you what the end product looks like. I'm just going to fold the meat and start pulling it apart. And the act of pulling it apart, I think, is part of what makes it a Philadelphia cheesesteak, right? It's going to be whole slices. It's kind of little shaved pieces of meat. Can you hear that sizzle? I'm sure you do. It's a loud sizzle happening here. See, the meat cooks really quickly. The veggies that take their time. That smells good over here. I smell all my veggies. If you want to season the meat, you can put, I guess, just like steak seasoning or salt and pepper, whatever you want. I'm going to leave mine plain at the moment, but you are free to season your meat as you wish. And I'm leaving mine plain just because I think the horseradish sauce is where I'm going to get most of my flavor. This is a great meal deal this week. And I just thought we'd try it out. So yeah, the meat's going to take about 5 minutes or so to cook, maybe a minute or two longer. When it's all cooked, I'm going to mix it in with my veggies. Just waiting till the meat isn't red anymore, and then I will add it in with the vegetables. And then once I get rid of a little bit more red, this is the cheese that I chose. I'm going to take out some cheese and add the cheese on top. So let it sit in the skillet and melt. The more you rip it apart, it gets done faster too. Looks like it's just about ready to mix with my veggies. I love that. I'm going to make it in time before 12:30. That's always the best when it actually gets done. Turn this one little spot of red over. All right, now I'm going to mix them all together. And you can add as much veggies as you want to yours. I like a lot of veggies in mine. I think that makes it taste good. I'm going to take my cheese, rip it in half. And I like that this cheese has like the paper on it that makes you pick it up without touching everything in the package. I'm just going to give that a minute to cook. Maybe even let it steam for a second so that the cheese melts. And then we are going to load it up on my roll. One got nice and melty pretty quick. And then I'm going to take a drizzle of my yogurt sauce. And that is your cheesesteak. is going to be my lunch today. I'm kind of excited. So I'm going to stop the recording right now and answer your questions. Well, let me share my screen for one more second. So if you want to stay connected to our team, this is what's happening this week. Tuesday, there's Produce Spotlight, Butternut Squash with Shayna at noon. Wednesday, the Wellbeing Connection for an Ask the Dietitian session with Jenna. Thursday, Trending Topics, Thanksgiving App Board. Oh, that sounds amazing. Noon with Shayna. And then Friday's Coffee Chat, Pomegranate Month, 9 o'clock a.m. with Shayna and Jenna. And thank you so much for joining me. Take care, everybody. If you want to stay on, I will respond to questions in the Q&A right now. Thank you so much. Have a great rest of your day. Bye, everybody.